welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered. Today we have our first ever post-draft show. Noted, I do know the draft did happen a couple weeks ago, so we're not going to try to act like we filmed this right after the draft or the day of the draft. But if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Colby, thank you for joining me. I know it's been a hot minute, boys. I think since like January, right? January?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a good 4 months or so. So, like I said, we're literally going to just go over some of the draft, and then we're going to address some quarterback situations like Aaron Rodgers. We're going to talk about early Super Bowl predictions. The goal of the episode is not to get too heavy into the fantasy stuff yet. This is just more of like a blanket football episode. And then once kind of like August comes around, I think then we'll start getting into heavy fantasy stuff. Just because I don't know who's going to be cut, who's going to be playing, who's going to be second, third string. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, Shedeur Sanders, start and pick him up in every league because he might not play this year. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, let's do that. And he's not even playing. So we'll save that till August. For now, strictly football, strictly draft, and we'll kind of just go from there. So speaking of the draft, X, in your opinion, who was the biggest winner of the draft?
To me, oh, man. Honestly, I actually liked Green Bay's draft, honestly, because Green Bay's draft was actually clear across the board. Like, Green Bay's draft, they didn't go like one consistent like position. They literally spread it throughout the entire draft. And so I liked it personally, me.
Colby, what about you?
Yeah, the Packers, they finally got the wide receiver in the first round, or drafted wide receiver since I don't know how long. So good for them. I think the biggest winner for me is going to be the Giants because they are in a very competitive division. And yes, I am a Cowboys fan, but hopefully
that's official. That's still official.
Hopefully, it's still official. Hopefully, they do not. Hopefully, the moves they don't make puts them over the top. But they had Carter, they had Jackson Dart, a couple other picks. So I think their defense was already doing pretty good towards the end of the year last year. So hopefully, Jackson Dart can learn from Russell Wilson and see what happens.
Do you really think Jackson Dart should have been a first round draft pick?
I mean, it looks like he played well. I just don't think the media covered him as much. So that's why no one really thought it. But, I mean, I saw him a couple times after he got drafted. I watched him in his film. Not bad, but also, I'm not an expert, but I think he looked pretty good.
Okay, so in my opinion, the biggest winner was the Chicago Bears. And my wife is at an absolute hate me for saying that. I put it on Instagram, and she like literally yelled from downstairs and because she's a hardcore Packers fan. But they got Colston Loveland, who to me was my favorite tight end going into the draft. Who was the other tight end that they were?
Tyler Warren.
Warren. I know some of my buddies at work are like, oh, Warren this, Warren that. I'm like, Warren. The issue with Warren is that he wasn't as good as a blocking tight end as Loveland, and Loveland is a little bit more of like the full package. And you can see that a lot in Michigan. He has great height, great hands, but he can also block. Kind of reminds me of like a George Kittle type. And I think that it's really hard to have both. I mean, Brock Bowers, right? Offensive Rookie of the Year, probably the best receiving tight end, but the boy can't block to save his life. Yeah. So those are just things to think about. And then they grabbed a receiver, got an offensive tackle, focused on their defense, linebacker, cornerback, and then they went running back at the end. And this was a very deep running back draft. And the fact that they got a really good running back really, really late in a really competitive division, in my opinion, probably the best division of football right now as far as competitiveness is that NFC North. All of those teams are good enough to make the playoffs. Obviously, we got to see what happens with Detroit now that their coach or their offensive coordinator is gone and he's now the head coach of the Bears. But I really liked that their draft. So, biggest loser. What?
I'm going to need you to have to cut mine.
My
little segment. You're going to have to start it out with Colby because I picked the wrong one. I actually meant the Saints, not Green Bay.
Oh, okay. It's all right. We'll leave it in. How about we just don't cut it and you just get into it?
Yeah, fuck it, dude. Fuck it. I actually meant the Saints because the Saints, they actually went every single different position. The Saints are an absolute mess. So I actually liked their draft because they went offensive tackle, quarterback, D tackle, safety, linebacker, corner, running back, tight end, edge. All different positions, filling different holes. doing whatever they needed to do. I actually like that. To me, that's a solid draft. The team's obviously rebuilding, but they weren't focused on one solid position. They were just going all across the board, doing whatever they could. I liked that, personally.
I will
Green
say
Bay
I did
actually didn't have that bad of a draft. I actually looked at Green Bay. Green Bay didn't have that bad of a draft. I could have swore it was them, but it was actually the Saints. Saints are still a mess, but even Green Bay kind of went across the board too. They just got two wide receivers, and then that was it. That was the only consistent ones they actually got, and then 2 offensive tackles. But I still like them. I still like Green Bay.
I like Green Bay's in that the Goldman is very good. He was the fastest receiver. He ran like a 4.2, right, in the combine. And they've been needing that number 1 receiver for a really long time. And I think the big reason why they went sub receiver, he's number 1 guy for sure. But I think the reason why they went after him is because all the receivers get injured so much throughout the season that they couldn't rely on Watson and Dobbs and Reed. And Reed's their number 1 guy, and Goldman will probably be 2. But it's just the fact that they need that depth, and Aaron Rodgers was calling for that before he left. That's all he wanted. Give me a number 1 guy.
I like that their number 1 was a wide receiver, addressing that Jalen Reed is the only guy type of question. And then they also drafted an offensive tackle, showing that they want to protect Love because they saw what happens when Love was injured. I mean, Malik Willis carried him like a little bit. See, Malik Willis still won them games, but they realized just how bad it was with Love constantly being injured. So I like that their 2nd round pick is that they went tackle. I think that's solid.
But like for me, for the Saints, I like Shuck just because they need a quarterback. Rattler isn't that guy. But Derek Carr might not play. I don't know what's going on with Derek Carr. I still think Derek Carr's a better quarterback there. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't think they're going to be very competitive this year, but they are definitely rebuilding. And if I were them, I wish they didn't go quarterback because Arch might be available next year. And I think that's going to be probably the best quarterback in college. But we'll go to the next. We'll go to the biggest loser of the draft. I'm just going to go first. I have no idea what you guys are going to say. To me, it's the Cleveland Browns. And I'm not going to go into that big old – I'm not going to go into – like, is that everyone's consensus opinion? We're all going to say Cleveland?
Oh, man. You know what? That was one of mine. But I figured somebody else would go it, so I actually had a secondary team ready.
Okay, that's fine.
I knew it was going to happen.
So, for me, it's Cleveland. Cleveland goes – they trade Travis Hunter. The Jaguars made a terrible – combination of picks, which I know you're going to cover here in a little bit, X. And they went and got Travis, which I do like them getting Travis. I don't like how much they gave up for him, but I do like that they got Travis because it sounds like Travis is probably going to play both.
We're going to get into that. We are definitely.
That's true. That's fine. I like them getting Travis. I think for Travis's career, it's better to be on Jacksonville than it is to be on Cleveland, just because that's where careers go to die. But they drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd, and they drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th. And I know X and I were kind of going back and forth on the phone today. Mm-hmm. To me, it's like I like Shedeur better. I don't know if he was a first-round talent, but I could have seen him go late, like 30, 31. Someone traded up for him. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's a 5th-round talent. I think there's a lot of quarterback. He's better than Jackson Dart. He's better than Shuck. Shuck has more experience, kind of like a Bo Nix type, but Shedeur has shown that he's really, really accurate. Me as being a Niners fan, like I would like Shedeur just because of his accuracy, and that's basically what Brock Purdy does is 5-yard shovel passes, and it's all yak, right? That's how we get a lot of our yards. It's yak.
There was a lot of memes about who the Saints took at quarterback over Shedeur. So
I didn't see any of those.
Oh man, this dude had a pass at the combine that was just so bad, dude.
No.
Oh, it was terrible. It was just a hardcore meme.
So just to me, just that draft, it didn't make sense for them to get Dylan Gabriel and then trade up to get Shedeur. It's like, honestly, they probably could have just signed him as a free agent like Shiloh did, because Shiloh ended up signing with the Bucks after he fired his dad. So whatever that means. I don't know if his dad was his manager or what happened, but he fired his dad. We're not going to get into that yet because I'm going to. Well, no, I'm just saying he fired his dad, and I'm not talking about Shedeur. I'm talking about Shiloh. Yeah. But. Yeah, I don't think Cleveland Browns had a very good draft. I think they needed a lot of help. I don't know. I think they ended up going running back, right? But I think that's the pick I like.
2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, tight end, and a linebacker and a D tackle. So 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks.
You don't need 2 running backs. You don't need 2 quarterbacks.
No.
They have 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What Cleveland needs to do, I will say, they need to sign Justin Tucker. He's a free agent. Sign Justin Tucker.
He's a kicker.
And call it the massage therapy room. Barrett Brown. I don't know. Anyways, that's probably going to get cut.
Deshaun Watson knows a couple of places.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. X. All right. So who was the biggest loser of the draft?
49ers. I know you're not going to like it. I know you're not going to like it.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
As a avid 49ers watcher, because I have many friends that are 49ers fans, so I just have to know the team to be in those conversations and, bring them back to reality, just as my 49ers fans and everybody else brings me back to reality with the Titans. When I said the Titans wouldn't get the first round pick or even top 5 of the draft, here we are at number 1. But regardless, this draft to me was not good by any means. The 49ers lost too many people. And I mean, that just is what it is, because they had to pay Purdy. There was a lot of other issues.
Well, they haven't paid him yet.
On. Well, they're going to have to. And if they don't, I don't know what they're going to do, because Curtis Rourke in the 7th round probably is not going to carry you. But, whatever. I don't know. Regardless, my biggest concern was Trent Williams, that issue was not addressed at all. Instead, you got an offensive guard in the 7th round. I don't know what we're doing there. I don't know what's happening. I get you had a bunch of other holes, but that is your immediate hole. Nonetheless, too, as a running back, you lost Jordan Mason. I mean, granted, he was injury prone, but you have CMC, good running back. But the problem is CMC, what if he's good all week? Sunday comes around, his tinnitus acts up. He's done. He's not going to play. He can't play.
Do you forget who our backup is? Garendo's great, dude.
Garendo's going to get injured too. They all get injured. I don't know who you guys' strength and coach is, but you're strength and stamina coach.
I like Isaac Garendo. That's why I'm not worried. I don't think we need to go out and get a bunch of running backs.
I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it. Your guys' defense took hard hits. Instead, you guys went interior linemen, which are D linemen, which I didn't understand. I think you needed more help in the safeties in your secondaries than you did as a D line. I mean, your 3rd round, you went a linebacker. I'm not sure if he's going to be the replacement for Greenlaw or who's going to replace him, but those are huge shoes to fill. So I don't know. I just didn't like how I feel like a lot of positions weren't addressed how they should have been.
I mean, I'm not going to be mad. I mean, the Garendo thing, yeah, but everybody else, I didn't like the 11th pick. I wanted Kevin Banks or Will Campbell. Obviously, Will Campbell went early. Not a surprise. He allowed 2 sacks and over 600 snaps. So, or no, yeah, something like no sacks and 600 snaps, something like that. But Cal Williams is good. He's big, but he's he's a project where some of his block shedding looked funky. He looked funky out there. He didn't look super crazy. Hopefully, Saleh can do something. I mean, a lot of these picks are solid. D-line, linebacker, corner, D-line. And then they went receiver, running back, safety, quarterback, line.
And I mean, Saleh is a good defensive coordinator, so I'm not going to knock him for that.
But I think it's. I don't know if ours was the worst in my opinion, but I see where you're coming from, and I wasn't too happy with my draft, if that makes sense.
Because I mean, if you look at other teams, I mean, the Commanders only had 5 picks. Obviously, their draft is not going to be good. They only had 5 picks. The 49ers had a plethora of picks. They were kind of in the later rounds, but still, you still had a plethora of picks. And I feel like what positions that needed to be filled were not filled, in my opinion, with your plethora of picks. So.
All right. So we'll just go into the next one. The biggest rookie impact. So, how do I? I'm actually, because this is Colby's question. I'm going to go ahead and let Colby
with the boy.
Sure.
All right. So, one of the questions I've been seeing over the line is if Ashton Genty's actually going to do good. Ooh, and I do know we're not going to talk about fantasy, but I had to I got a bunch of running backs drafted early in the first round, how they did their rookie year, their offensive line ranking for that year, and kind of just see, if there's a correlation between where they're picked, where they go, offensive ranking. So obviously, Bijan had a great year, finished RB12. These are all rookie years. Saquon, RB1, Leonard Fournette, RB8, Zeke Elliott, 2, Todd Gurley, 5th, and then Christian McCaffrey, 10th. There was, let's see, 3 of them that had 15. Let's see, I'm messing up on this, so we just got it. I should have known how to word this. Okay, yeah. There was 3 of them that were 15 or worse rankings. So Fournette was the 15th ranked O-line, Saquon at 18th, and then Todd Gurley at 28th. And the Raiders ranking right now, offensive ranking for next year, is 23. So it's looking kind of dicey, 50-50% chance that, he could finish a top 12 fantasy, which means he'd have a pretty good productive year. So I'm kind of low on it, but after seeing these numbers, it kind of affirms it. He's either going to go off and just have a great year at rookie year, or he's going to have a mediocre year. Kind of like how Saquon had a weird years with the Giants because their O-line was kind of bad. It's Genty, Cam Ward. Again, I didn't look too much into the Titans draft, if they drafted O-line, if they were trying to protect him. But obviously, he's just a great player.
We did that over the offseason.
Okay. So, yeah, I think Cam Ward can make a very good impact and possibly be the best rookie. I mean, we saw Jaden Daniels do it last year, and Bo Nix. I mean, they both were great. So I don't see why Cam Ward could do the same thing. So I didn't know. What else you guys got, or what do you think about?
I would go Cam Ward just because, like, from a perspective of changing a franchise, Cam Ward would be the one with the most pressure on him. First round pick, right? Quarterback, supposed to be the quarterback of the franchise. So I would go that route, but honestly, I'm kind of with you on the Genty because Pete Carroll is very big with his good running backs. He needs a good running back for his offense to go. If you look at every time Pete Carroll was the head coach, he always had at least a top 5, top 10 running back almost every single time. So to me, that just shows the consistency of what he's trying to do, and he knows how to pick a running back. So for Genty, I feel like it's going to be pretty solid for him.
So for me, the biggest impact, that's going to be tough, man. Just because honestly, it's probably for me, it's going to be Abdul Carter. Only because the Giants have a great defense, and I think that their offense is still going to be horrendous. So they're going to have to do something, right? I think if Abdul would have went to Cleveland, that would have been really crazy as far as like being opposite of Myles Garrett. But I don't think Sean Genty has a good year. The Raiders didn't address the offensive line at all, and their offensive line is terrible. Like, I think they had the 32nd ranked offense last year. And you have a really good running back, but just like any other running back, I mean, you put Saquon on the Eagles and look what happens, right? You have a great running back and a great offensive line. Yeah, you're going to win. You put a great running back behind a shitty offensive line. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I see him as like the offensive rookie of the year, though. Like,
you're talking wins, though. But as far
I'm talking stats. Like, do you think Genty's going to average 100 yards a game? No.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I think
1,000 maybe.
I understand that what I'm about to say is putting a Hall of Famer and a great running back into the mix, and we don't know if Genty is that. But Derrick Henry had a terrible offensive line and was still able to get over like 1,500 yards every single season.
But how big is Derrick Henry?
I know. That's why I made that little disclaimer at the beginning.
Derrick Henry's 6'2", 6'3", like 250, bro. Ashton Genty's like 5'8".
Oh, yeah.
5'9".
No, I mean,
he's not very big. Yeah. And Genty struggled in college against good teams, against bigger boys. He played really good in Boise in the Mountain West against Fresno State.
Well,
but I mean, besides that, he wasn't doing so hot.
Though we've seen it before, though, how one coach, even with the team not changed so much, could make a big impact. Because Harbaugh did it with the 49ers. The 49ers went 3-14. He comes in, barely changes that player locker room, barely changes many players, and then turns them into a playoff team straight out the gate. So
yeah, but
you never
the
know.
Seattle offensive line was good, man. That's the difference.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the difference. And
But
I think that's the biggest.
We'll
that's the biggest need Pete Carroll's going to need to address with them.
Yeah.
Is the offensive line, which they didn't at all. And I think that if I'd be different if Marshawn Lynch went in there, he had a great offensive line, he went beast mode. Obviously, they should have just ran it instead of throwing it in the Super Bowl. But that's besides the point. But what I'm saying is that they had a good offensive line. The Raiders' offense was ranked 32 last year. They haven't really done anything. They got more receivers. Okay, they didn't draft a number one receiver. They got a couple guys in the second and the third. It's like, that's fine. But you didn't address the need of how your running game is going to operate. So to me, I just don't see him. I think a lot of this comes from people at work being like, "Oh, Genty's going to be 1,500 yards." I'm like, "You're smoking crack. He's not going to have 1,500 yards. He's lucky to get 1,000 yards this year. He'd be lucky."
You know what? I feel that sometimes because there's sometimes like at work when you just hear people constantly saying the same thing over and over and over. Like part of you just feels like, you know what, dude? I hope that doesn't happen. Like, shut up, stop talking.
So yeah, I just said Abdul Carter.
Okay.
I think that's better for me. I think he just has a better year, and he probably wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Just since we're on the topic, who do you think gets Offensive Rookie of the Year, and who gets Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I got to sneak one. All right. So the last 2 years, the leading tight end or the number one tight end in the league has been a rookie. And I think
you going
Colston Loveland is going to have a crazy year. That is Ben Johnson, Sam Laporta. I don't know if you guys have seen like footage of him.
But Laporta had a terrible year last year. He regressed hardcore.
But they also don't have Monty and Gibbs in the backfield. So I think he's going to get utilized like Sam Laporta did in the beginning.
Okay.
Just hyper targeted. What
about Defensive Player of the Year? What do you got?
Man, I can't think of his name. It's a DB. He's going to be opposite side of Surtain. He got drafted.
Dude, that's the dude I was going to say.
I can't think of his name right now. But
it's Jahdae Barron.
No. That is going to be a no-fly zone in Denver. No-fly zone.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. Let's go, boys.
Yeah.
All right. What about your offense then, X?
Offense, I'm actually going to go. This one's going to be kind of a shot in the dark because I don't want to pick Cam Ward, right? I don't want to do
I'm going to, so it's fine.
That's obvious. This guy. I'm going to actually go Matthew Golden from Green Bay. I like him offense. I like him opposite of Reed because I think Reed's going to take a lot of the attention. Kraft is now coming into his play. You know, there's going to be a lot more, and I think he's going to have kind of a worthy type of like, we're going to see if he comes to type deal. And I think that he's actually going to do a lot of big things. He also, he's one of the two players to run a sub 4.3 40-yard dash. That boy is fast. So
that's what I said when we talked about him earlier. He's really good.
He's gonna have opportunities. I think he's gonna have good opportunities.
I know the boy Angel really wanted him on the Dallas Cowboys, and when they didn't go and get him, he was hurt. He was hurt. Him and CD, Golden and CD next to each other, that's crazy.
Yeah, that would have been
crazy.
Would have been awesome.
That would have been pretty nasty.
For me, I'm going Cam Ward. The player of the year, the MVP, it's always quarterback. Like, to me, it's like if I had to put money on it at the beginning of the season, go to Vegas and put some money down, I'm saying Cam Ward. Cam Ward, they have a lot of players. Their offense is not that bad. Their line sucks. I mean, I know you guys went out and still got it. We still got to see it. I got to see it on the field before I say differently. I'm just thinking last year's team, I'm still a Will Levis guy, and it hurts my heart. But Cam Ward,
you're a Will Levis guy out of profit and greed.
The cards, yes, for cards. But what I will say is, I think because it is a I call it the quarterback award. Just because I don't think Genty's going to have that big, crazy year. He's going to get 1,000 yards, but I don't think that's going to be warranted enough. You guys still have Calvin Ridley. It's not like you guys don't have players. You guys still have Tajay. You still have Pollard. Like, you guys still have a half-decent team around you guys.
Tight end.
And the sneaky pick that everybody seems to forget, we picked up the boy Tyler Lockett. Let's go, dude. I'm hyped for that boy.
He'll be your slot guy. So
no, he's got to be number 2 for sure. He's going to be number 2.
Maybe.
He'll run the same role you did.
You guys should. Cam Ward is set up to succeed. It's just I don't know if that line's set up to succeed. But I know you guys have got some guys, so we'll see what happens. But to me, I think you guys are not going to be a top 5 pick in the draft this year. I mean, maybe not. Okay, you guys won't be top 3. You guys might be top 5, but you guys won't be top 3.
That's right.
So I could see him. I could see him getting it, and just because I don't see any of the other quarterbacks like Jackson Dart, I don't see him playing this year. Shedeur, Dylan Gabriel, I don't really see them playing fully this year. So that's going to be really the only big rookie quarterback that I think actually gets a full amount of time, unless Shuck plays, but I doubt it. I think he's still going to sit behind Rattler for a little bit. Defense, I already said it. It's Abdul Carter. I think Abdul has a hell of a year, and I just hope he doesn't Jason Pierre-Paul himself. That's all. That's all I'll say on that. All right, so next we're going to get into some head scratchers. So I'll just start it off and say I don't like how Cleveland, and I even said it at the beginning of the show, went out and got a 3rd rounder, got Dylan Gabriel, and then they went out and got Shedeur in the 5th. Now you have Deshaun Watson, you got Kenny Pickett, who you traded for, you have Joe Flacco, who you just signed, you have Dylan Gabriel, and you have Shedeur Sanders. So I was reading some articles, and they said that they were either considering playing, maybe not Flacco, but like Pickett, Watson's out, Pickett, Gabriel, and Sanders, and seeing like either trying to get eyes for trades, or I don't know if they're going to release. I don't know what they're going to do, but I know they're trying to get eyeballs. So they're probably trying to figure out who they like best for their franchise, and then get rid of either Pickett. I would say Pickett probably gets cut. To me, that makes the most sense. He's on his last year of his deal, anyways, and maybe they just keep Flacco, Shedeur, and Dylan. To be honest, but that was a head scratcher to me. I'm going to kind of segue this up for X. I don't know why the Jacksonville Jaguars gave up so much to go up and get Travis, which I do like Travis. I just feel like they gave up a lot. So, X, you kind of want to talk about that a little bit?
This was the stupidest trade in the draft. All right, so you trade up to get Travis Hunter. Okay, good for you. We're proud, right? You did big things, but you gave away your 1st round pick, which was number 5. Would Travis Hunter have gone before number 5? Yeah, I think so. So I understand why you did it. Doesn't mean I agree with what you gave away for it. Now, what I mean by that was the Giants were going to trade the Titans, and they were going to give away 2 first-round picks and like a 3rd round pick or 2nd round pick
for the number 1 overall. Right.
It was going to be a massive trade. But the Titans didn't do it because they were sold on Cam Ward. So there had to be one stupid trade, and this was it. So you gave away your 1st round pick, right? Number 5, you just swapped this year. Okay. Then the Browns also got your 2nd round pick, number 36. Then they also got your 4th round pick, 126 pick. Then for next year, you gave away your 1st round pick. Yeah. Are you serious?
It's a lot.
Okay. So people were making the argument that Travis Hunter is a generational talent. Now, when I hear that, to me, that says you're talking this boy is going to be equivalent to Megatron. Okay, I'm just going to throw that name out there because that boy was generational.
Yeah, he doesn't have the size for that.
But what I'm meaning though is when you say generational talent, somebody that changes the game, right? Peyton Manning, Megatron. We're talking those big type of names. To me, when I hear generational talent, Deion Sanders, right? Travis Hunter is not no. A very good player, might be a superstar. Generational talent. No.
I think it's only considered generational. I'm just saying. I'm not. I do agree with you. I think they only think that's generational because he is trying to play both positions, which we're going to see if he's even going to be able to do that. I don't think he's quarterback one. I don't think he's receiver one. So he might be like a slot guy, right, where he comes in on certain plays, so he can still play both. He does have two jerseys. He'll have his packages. He's going to play both. That's already happened. He's got two numbers.
He has his packages for sure.
Right. So I think he'll be like a receiver 2, receiver 3, and I think he'll be like a corner 2 or corner 3, depending on what it is. Yeah. I think he's going to play corner more than receiver, but I think it's going to be a package where he comes in to help because he does have hands, and he does route run really well, and he's very quick. And when he gets doubled and when he's in traffic, he still catches the ball, and that's what makes him a good receiver. But because of his size, I would be cautious to see what happens because he's like 6 foot.
So the one,
I'll look it up.
No, I'll check it right now. I'm already on this shit. He is 6 foot, 188 pounds.
6'1" it says.
But NFL, like the NFL Network says 6 foot, 188. I'm gonna trust that.
I'm just curious to see if after a year, 2, 3, he decides, I'm going to focus on the cornerback, or I'm only going to focus on wide receiver.
The one thing that I want to put out there is that the Titans did draft the boy from Stanford that literally cooked his ass the entire game. So we drafted him. I'm just saying, if they want to get stupid and put that boy out there in a nickel, then guess who's going out there in the slot? The boy from Stanford. He's got to look across and be like, hey, you were a first round. I was a 5th. Let's see how this turns out. It ain't gonna go well.
Yeah, I mean, were there any other head scratcher picks besides Jacksonville's stupid trade, Cleveland Browns with the Shedeur and Dillon thing? Colby, what do you got?
Yeah, I got one. The Buccaneers, that wide receiver they took, they're not gonna pronounce it right. Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, dude, I like him. You didn't like him from Ohio?
I like that player. I don't think it's good for their team. They already have Godwin. Godwin's going to come back.
I think why, Evans. And then McMillan. But I think the reason why they did it though is because Godwin gets hurt every year, dude.
He does.
He gets hurt every year.
He does.
And they need a slot guy.
Injury.
But guess who went after? Guess who went one pick after him?
Who?
That they're getting cooked in the defense. They're getting cooked all year in their defense. It was the Barron guy that went to Denver. Got picked one pick after him, and they're needing defense. So that's just head scratcher to where. Yes, they have playmakers, but you can't win games if you're getting 40, 50 points dumped in your head. Like that's just from my standpoint.
No, I agree. I think though they went just because they just did sign Godwin, but in the fact that Godwin does get hurt, all they would have is McMillan and Evans got hurt last year too. So I think they were kind of just building some depth. But I understand your side of it as well. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was a terrible pick. I do think who's the other guy from the Hawaiian who went really early?
By the way, I'm just going to clarify one more time. The boy from Stanford went 4th round. Sorry.
Oh.
Just got to
yeah, McMillan from where is he from?
He was playing
Arizona.
Great year.
Arizona.
Yep.
T-Mac. Yeah, I think he kind of went a little early, but
I think as far as your Bucks go, I mean Mike Evans is getting old, bro. Like, you got to start to develop somebody. Yeah, you know what I mean?
True. I'm just I like the Buccaneers. They got me fantasy championship last year. So
let's go,
boys. They're definitely a high-powered offense. Someone asked, what are the Jalen Ramsey rumors? Like, where do you think he's going to go? So if you're not sure of what happened, Jalen Ramsey requested a trade or they mutually agreed to a trade. He's 30 years old, has a high salary, not this year, but next year. Still an all-pro. I've heard the Rams might try to go back and get him. But I don't think the money makes sense, especially with Stafford getting paid. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing where I think Miami doesn't want to pay part of his salary. So I've seen Baltimore, I've seen Arizona, one other team, and the Rams. But I just want to kind of I just think Miami keeps him, to be honest.
I would like to see the Chiefs take him. That's who I'd like to see.
I don't know if they have the cap for him, though. That's the problem.
They might not. But I think that Jalen is going to want to go to a Super Bowl type team, right? Because
the Rams would be a Super Bowl type team if they got him.
I mean, so the Ravens.
They're close. No, for sure, and that's one of the teams that's listed. But I think the problem is he's owed like 20 or something. Yeah.
No.
Is that what it is?
That's a
20
lot.
Ramsey?
He's gonna go somewhere. He's either gonna want to take a pay cut and go somewhere to win, or he's gonna go somewhere to get paid and have a good season. But they're not gonna win. They're not gonna win.
So you said a $72.1 million contract extension last year. That's the problem. And it says Dolphins are making Jalen Ramsey trade difficult by not absorbing contract. So they don't want to absorb his contract. Someone who a lot of teams don't have the cap space for him, man. And that's the issue. Is that the Rams, the only way they're going to get him is they're going to have to take some of that money. But I honestly think he ends up staying with Miami just because I think the money. And that's on Miami for offering him that contract. If they didn't want him, they shouldn't have paid him. They should just let him be a free agent.
Yeah.
So, and I know KC is in up the butt and cap. So is Philly. And there's a lot of these teams that don't have cap right now. 49ers. So now we're going to get into some actual football, non-draft related stuff. Well, I mean, it's still draft related, I guess, technically. But what are the Titans' expectations this year, and what are our predictions for them? X, you're going last. You're going last. You're going last.
No.
Colby?
Yeah, I should look this up, but I'm curious to know how many interceptions they threw last year. I'm curious. A lot. And I almost wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder what the conversion rate would be for the defense where the teams catching those interceptions would turn into a touchdown. Because I think that would honestly, if they could stop the turnovers, they'd be a pretty decent team. And I agree.
So what is your expectation for them? Like, do you think, as far when I say prediction is, do you think they're going to be playoffs? Do you think they're going to be a top 5 draft pick? What is your expectation wins wise as a team for the season?
I'll say they go about 500. First year Cam Ward, about 500.
Well, you can't go 500 no more. So plus or minus 8, or plus or minus 9. That's what it would be. Or 8.5. 8.5. Plus or minus 8.5.
I'd go 8. I'd go lower 8.5. First year Cam Ward.
So you think they go 9 and 8?
No, I said under 8.
Oh, under 8
losses. So
wins. Oh, okay. So over you think they go over 500 then?
Yeah.
Well, I will say, before I get to X, I'm thinking you guys are going under 500 just because I don't know what that line looks like yet. I think you guys have a lot of potential, but I just don't see a rookie quarterback that's not named C.J. Stroud, who did okay. He didn't do crazy. Or Jaden Daniels, who's, I would say he's generational at this point. Mm-hmm. As far as his first year, he played way better than C.J. and everybody else. They also set him up to be really good. But he executed, and that's really hard for rookies coming from college into the NFL. Usually people don't do that their first year. So I would say under 500. I wouldn't just be surprised if you guys had a top 5 pick, and that's not anything against Cam Ward. I think it's just more of the growing pains of the team.
Of building, rebuilding.
Yeah, right. X, what do you got for me? What do you think? Give us an honest. Honestly, you can give me something crazy. Okay. You know, give me something crazy.
No. I think our ceiling is 7 wins at best. Okay. I think our floor is 3 wins. I think if at worst we had the same season we had this year, at our best 7 wins. I'll give us that.
I'm being optimistic. I was being optimistic.
You
I
are,
really
dude.
Don't think
and you know what, brother?
They'll throw a lot of interceptions. That. Hopefully not. Hopefully Cam doesn't go out there and throw a bunch of interceptions.
My only issue is that a lot of our line little Band-Aids are 1-year contracts. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that's kind of throwing me off. But I like what we did with the offensive line. I think the offensive line is going to be better. We have literally a actually pretty solid offensive line. But our defense didn't really change much. We lost Harold Landry. That was about it. But in my opinion, we addressed that in the draft in our 2nd round pick, which I would love to see any of you try and say his name, but good luck. But anyways, so I don't know. I feel like we set Cam Ward up for the best possible situation. That's what I think happened. And like I said, 7 wins at max, 3 wins in worst situation.
Yeah, I'm looking at your team. I'm looking at your team right now. I don't know if I really like everything. I don't like Van Jefferson. I'm gonna be real. I like Calvin Ridley.
He's a slot.
I like Lockett. No, they have Van Jefferson. They have Lockett as your slot right now.
Yeah, that won't be.
That's what he plays.
No, I get it.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. I like Xavier Woods. but yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I would say I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are a top 5 pick, and that's not a knock on you guys. I just think,
no, that's fair.
It's growing pains, and I think the real question is who's going to have a better year, Dallas or Tennessee?
Oh,
speaking of Dallas, let's get into Dallas. How about we get into Dallas? So that's for the boy Angel. It's for the boy Colby here. All my Dallas fans. The boy Angel. I mean, like I said, he knows that I'm talking about this. So he wanted Golden. He didn't get Golden. He's pretty hurt. They went offensive line. They need offensive line because their star guard just retired. Zach Martin retired, so they drafted some linemen. But the biggest need, and I think the biggest red flag on their offense is they don't have a running back. The running back last year that no one really liked, that actually didn't have a bad year, is gone.
Yeah.
So now they have what? Deuce Vaughn?
Well, I think we have the best running backs in the league. Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, best duo in the league. So
that's your guys' running backs?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't address the running back issue.
No.
Nick Chubb's still available. Nick Chubb is the guy came off of an aggressive injury. Nick Chubb's better than all those guys.
If Nick Chubb goes to the Cowboys, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm keeping it. I'm saying.
I would take Javonte Williams over Nick Chubb, bro.
No.
Nick Chubb's garbage. I had Nick Chubb last year, dude. Trust me, I know. He was garbage.
Bro. Nick Chubb's on that level.
I'll tell you right now who's available.
Nick Chubb.
Hold on. Available. Jamal Williams, Gus Edwards, Jeff Wilson, Nick Chubb. Anybody else, I don't really care. Cam Akers. Nah, I don't like any of those other guys. Gus Edwards would have been fine. Jamal Williams. No, Jamal Williams. I like Jamal Williams from New Orleans. Before that was Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nick Chubb, I think, still is. Man,
I would go Gus Edwards as a little bit.
I'm saying, it isn't Javonte Williams hasn't had a good year ever.
Mm-hmm.
And then who's your other running back?
Miles Sanders.
He was a third on the running back chart in Carolina and Eagles. I mean,
they basically swapped Miles Sanders and Dallas.
But that first pick, rather than picking a tackle or a guard or whatever they picked, they should have went receiver or they should have went running back because they still don't have a number 2 receiver.
No.
Tolbert has butterfingers, and this is all Angel's words. So if he gets mad, this is your own words from what I've heard. Tolbert's got butterfingers. He's a better special teams player. Brandon Cooks is gone. It's what are we doing? Golden was there. Some of the top running backs were right there, ready to be picked. So it's not looking good for Dallas. But for another team that's not looking good for, I'm going to kind of segue into this, is the Steelers. Yeah. What about the Steelers? Who's their quarterback? Will Howard? I mean, national champion.
Hey,
but is he going to be the starting quarterback day one? Or is it going to be
when they trade for him?
They're going to trade back for Kenny Pickett after they traded him to the Eagles? Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
And they're going to pick up Shedeur Sanders when he gets cut.
Hey, Shedeur would be a day one starter on that team.
Freaking
They'd be a playoff team with Shedeur Sanders.
Aaron Rodgers still out there. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is they want Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers might not even play.
Aaron Rodgers ain't playing, bro. If he wanted to play for the Steelers, he would have went.
He's going to come in mid-year.
That's who they should try for is Joe Flacco. I would like that.
Joe Flacco already signed. He's not getting. Cleveland Browns are not getting rid of Joe Flacco. No. Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if he plays. They basically said, "Hey, we're still waiting for you," kind of thing. We're not going to go draft a high quarterback. And if he plays, he plays. He don't. If not, it looks like it's going to be Mason Rudolph, who they got rid of to go to Tennessee, and now Tennessee got rid of Mason Rudolph, and now Mason Rudolph's back on the Steelers. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers coming back. X says no. Colby?
No. I would think he would turn to a Joe Flacco type player, but knowing him, seeing the way he lives online and stuff, I don't think that. I think he signs somewhere and plays. He gives a shot one more year. I don't know if it's for a poverty franchise. I don't know, but I'd assume he wouldn't want to go somewhere that doesn't have aspirations to win a Super Bowl. Like he's going to go in there and try to win a Super Bowl. So I don't know much other teams that fits that criteria for him other than the Steelers. So unless
that's why I think he's coming back to play for the Steelers.
Normally the player cycle that happens is you get into the NFL, you're trying to make money. So when you're young, you signed a big contract, right? That's your goal. Sign a big contract, long-term, big money guaranteed. You want least amount of incentives, right? Because you just want to make the money. You hold on to that big contract for about 2 contracts, 4-year contracts. Then when you hit Rodgers or Jalen Ramsey, right, you're hitting those 30s, hitting that 28, 29. Now you're playing for a Super Bowl. You're not playing for money anymore. You already made the money. Who cares now? Now you're making it to win a Super Bowl. That is normally the NFL player's life cycle. No NFL player at 29, 30 is looking for this big ass contract. Nobody's looking for that. You're looking to win a Super Bowl at that point because now you've already cemented yourself by getting that big contract as a good player, as a superstar player, to now you need to cement yourself as a legend. Because look at Dan Marino, bro. Nobody talks about Dan Marino that much because he never won a Super Bowl, right? That's always just the main argument. If he would have won a Super Bowl, now he would have been in the talks of these amazing type quarterbacks, which to me, that's a whole separate issue. I don't really believe that Super Bowls make you good or bad, but regardless, that's just the arguments that come in. So that's normally the player's life cycle, in my opinion.
I think he comes back. I think Steelers is the only shot to go to the Super Bowl. If they even make the Super Bowl, they make the playoffs every year. So who knows? Maybe they're going to tank for Arch. Who knows? We really don't know. They haven't had a top 10 pick, 5 pick in years. So if they're going to be rebuilding, they got to figure it out. Next, what do the Niners do with Brock Purdy? I will answer last now since I'm the Niners fan. X, I'll let you go first since you're the Niners' number 1 hater.
I am not the Niners' number 1 hater. I'm realistic when it comes to them. Just as you guys are the number 1 Tennessee Titans haters.
I don't hate Tennessee.
Except Colby. Colby had good expectations, and I appreciate that. Oh. Anyways, the point being, Brock Purdy is not a very good quarterback. I don't care what you say. You can't convince me otherwise. He is not a very good quarterback. He had a Hall of Fame cast around him, so he was able to do amazing things. Now, you put him on, I don't know, we'll go
any
Vikings. No, Vikings still have a good. Well, all they have is receivers, but any other team, he's going to be average. Right now, though, it's hard to find a good quarterback. An average quarterback right now is a great quarterback because quarterbacks right now suck. So the Niners are in a crappy situation where do they roll the dice again and try and find a better quarterback, or do they make do with what they have? In my opinion, you trade Brock Purdy to a team that's hurting for a quarterback. I would say you trade Brock Purdy to the Steelers. Get a lot of draft capital out of that. Steelers need a quarterback. They would love to have Brock Purdy. Delusional 49er fans would be sad to see him go because delusional 49er fans were also the ones that were happy to see Alex Smith go. Stupid in my opinion.
Alex Smith was never going to win the Super Bowl with the San Francisco.
Alex Smith, he did amazing on the Chiefs. I don't know. That just sounded like a coaching issue to me. But regardless, my thing is that Brock Purdy should be traded. He should be traded, have somebody else pick up his big-ass tab that he's going to have, and let it be somebody else's problem. Get some draft capital. You're already in a rebuild year because you lost your entire team. So might as well just tank it fully, get some good draft capital out of it, and pick up whoever the Cleveland Browns cut, I guess.
Yeah.
Colby, what do you think?
You know, I'm sitting here and I have a few things right now. I'm trying to figure out where could they trade him, and I don't know. They need to do something about Ayuk too. They need to do something about him. Trade him to where they can get a QB because their whole entire foundation, which you know the team more, but I feel like they surround a quarterback, which is he's supposed to be good, like he can be good with weapons. And it seems like if they sign Purdy, they're going away from their strategy, everything that have got them to where they are, why they're so good. So I don't know why they don't trade or at least draft someone. They did draft someone in the 7th round, so maybe they're doing another Purdy experiment with the 7th rounder they picked. But again, I think if they want to keep doing what they've been doing, they probably need to trade him for something. I mean, I just wrote down an idea. I have no idea. It's just like the first name that popped up in my head. What if they just traded Purdy and Ayuk and they picked up, I don't know, Bryce Young and T-Mac and a bunch of two first-round picks or first-round pick in a couple seconds. I don't know, just something to get them through this year and then boom, back in it next year. I don't know really what they should do. That's kind of it.
Well, I think that's a little shot in the dark. Yeah. Carolina's not trading T-Mac, and they're not trading Bryce Young.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of draft capital on Bryce Young, so there's no way they're going to do that.
That's true.
I think what ends up happening, and this is, I don't know why everyone's first thing is to trade him. We don't need to trade him.
You should.
We're not going to. This is what you're going to do. If I was the San Francisco 49ers, he has a $5 million tab this year. You pay him. You tag him next year at like 41, and then you tag him again at like 53 or 51. That's still less than what he would be getting from the original contract offer that the San Francisco 49ers offered him. So because of that,
my problem with that though is then you risk a potential holdout. Now he holds out,
but that's fine. The whole point of this is to show that he's got 2-3 years with a rebuilding team to figure out what the heck to do. If he's not performing, he's not worth Dak money at $60 million a year. That's what he wants, is $60 million a year. He's worth maybe $40 million a year, in my opinion. So that's what average quarterbacks are going for. Look at Daniel Jones's contract. Tua's getting like 50, 55. It's like, he's not worth it. You spend too much money. Look at Dallas Cowboys as a perfect example. You spend all your money on your receiver. You're going to spend all your money on your quarterback, and then your edge in Micah Parsons. You're going to have no more money on your team to do anything. Dallas Cowboys are never going to be a Super Bowl contender when all their money is tied up in 3 players. That's just the facts. So why not San Francisco just tag them, and when they come back to the drawing board and say, hey, you didn't perform like you did because all these superstars are gone. Christian McCaffrey's hurt. Debo's gone. Some of our defensive players are gone. It's like, okay, last year we went, what? We had 6 wins? We went 6 for 11. So we went 6-11. He does this again. It's like, okay, obviously that's not it. He's not worth the 50. Kyle Shanahan went out and got the quarterback that he wanted in the draft originally, which is Mac Jones. Not saying Mac Jones is anything special, but he was an all-pro his first year. So let's not forget that before the Patriots decided to absolutely tank the bet. So I think Kyle Shanahan's offense is a very quarterback-friendly offense, and that's why at the top of the show I was like, I would like Shedeur Sanders for my team because Shedeur Sanders does what Purdy does, but at a better level, at a higher level. And I would say he has more intangibles. And I wouldn't say maybe not football IQ because I think Brock Purdy is very smart, but as far as athleticism and talent and where he comes from, I'm taking Shedeur for sure. But I think that's just a product of Kyle Shanahan. So I think, like I said, $5 million this year, 40-something next year, and 50-something next year, if it even comes to that. But there's no reason to pay the back for him. We just paid George Kittle the highest tight end salary, which is worth it because he blocks and he receives. Let's do, this is a little fun segment. What about pretenders versus contenders? I don't know if we want to go down every single team on the list, but we can look at maybe last year's playoff teams and say, oh no, we could just go to the NFL teams. Yeah. And we'll rapid fire this. NFC first. Arizona Cardinals.
Nothing.
Pretender,
yeah.
Atlanta Falcons.
Pretender.
Carolina Panthers.
Pretender.
Chicago Bears.
Pretender.
Contender.
Pretender. Johnson.
Dallas Cowboys.
Contender.
Pretender. Detroit.
Contender.
Green Bay. Contender. Los Angeles Rams. Contender. Minnesota Vikings. Pretender.
Yeah.
Pretender.
JJ McCarthy, we don't know. New Orleans Saints. Worse than the Cardinals.
not even a word you can say.
Not even a word. Just
Pretender.
Worse.
Wow.
New York Giants. Pretender. Eagles.
Contender.
Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah.
San Francisco 49ers.
Pretenders.
Pretender. Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks. Pretenders.
Pretender.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Contender.
Contender. I think they win the division. Washington Commanders.
Contender.
Okay.
Super Bowl favorite.
AFC. Baltimore.
Contender.
Buffalo.
Contender. I don't think the
Cincinnati
team's very
Bengals.
good, but still.
The Bengals.
Bengals. Pretender.
Contender. They do better this year.
Don't even figure it
Cleveland.
out. Pretender.
Pretender.
Don't even know what to
Put them with the Cardinals, not as bad as the Saints. Denver. Contender.
I think pretender.
Yeah, I'd say pretender. I think go
Really?
against these one more year.
Did they make the playoffs?
They didn't
No,
make playoffs.
hold on.
7.
There
They made
is
7.
one thing. There is one thing that I do want to point out. That AFC West 100% has the best coaching staff in the NFL. As head coaches. They are all Hall of Fame coaches. Sean Payton, Hall of Fame. Andy Reid, Hall of Fame. Pete Carroll, Hall of Fame. Jim Harbaugh, Hall of Fame. They are all Hall of Fame head coaches. That is give them 2-3 years. That's going to be the best division in the NFL. I'm marking it right now. That's going to be the
All
best
right.
division in the NFL.
Houston.
Pretender.
Pretenders.
Contender because they're going to win the division.
Colts.
The rest of it, pretender.
Pretender.
Have no quarterback.
Jacksonville. Contender.
Pretender.
Contender.
Defense
Jacksonville's
is
making
atrocious.
playoffs this year. I'm calling it.
The fuck they
Calling
are.
it.
No,
This is
I
you
don't.
heard it first. Early prediction.
No.
Kansas
No,
City
no, no,
Chiefs. Contender.
Contender.
Raiders.
Pretender.
Just as bad as the Cardinals.
Give them,
Los
give them
Angeles
another
Chargers.
year.
They better adjust the
Contender.
line. Los Angeles
Contender.
Chargers.
Pretender.
Contender.
Pretender. Miami Dolphins. Pretender.
Pretender.
Patriots. Pretender.
Pretender.
Jets. Oh, wait. Patriots?
I'm going to do it, dude. Contender.
I don't think they're making playoffs. You're crazy.
They're going to
New
get
York
wild card.
Jets.
Pretender.
Pretender.
Pretender. Steelers.
Pretender.
I'm saying contender because they make the playoffs every year, and I don't know why else anything would change.
No.
Nope.
Tennessee Titans.
Pretender.
Pretender. Okay.
No.
Glad we're at least on the same topic like that. All right. Early Super Bowl predictions. I'm thinking a repeat. I have a repeat this year.
I have a.
I-
Go ahead, X.
Go ahead, Colby. Go ahead.
I think. Actually, I need to look this up. I'm going to make a note of it. I want to see if the Lions hired a new strength and conditioning and coach and a
The
trainer.
Lions might not even make playoffs this year, bro.
Because if their
No.
defense stays healthy, come
Yeah.
on. Like they would have made it if they had the right defense. Like, you can't deny
yeah.
it. You can't deny it.
Oh, yeah.
You can't.
I think with the departure of Ben Johnson, their team is not going to be as good as they were.
I think they'll be
We'll see.
fine.
I'm interested to see that part though, but I still got the players.
they'll be fine.
But I think Lions.
So
gonna
you're
be
thinking
a top
Lions?
game. To win
I'm
it
saying
all?
Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. Super Bowl predictions.
Matchup
Super
or
Bowl
everything?
predictions.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Who's going
say-
to go to the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna
One
say-
team from one team, and one team. I said Eagles, and I said Chiefs. I can see Ravens. Those are the only teams I think I can see going
Yeah,
to the Super Bowl.
I'm going-
I'd Lions, Ravens.
Go.
Yeah.
I'm going Ravens, Commanders.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Does Saquon repeat his production from last year? I say no.
No.
Mm,
No.
History has taught us, like a Derrick Henry
No.
yeah.
example number one.
He's still going to be
what-
amazing. He's still going to be a great back.
But-
He's still going to produce, but he's not.
But he ain't going to get close to the record. That last year was the time
Hell
for him
no.
to break it, and he didn't do
Hell
it.
no. Hell
Does
no.
CJ Stroud have a bounce back year?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he
I
does.
think so.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I truly don't. He had a great freshman year, and after that, dude, I don't know. They
you
need to
saying-
figure out some stuff.
Are you saying he's about to RG3 it?
No, not that bad. I just don't think he's going to have his
Okay.
same production that he did his first year because Stephon Diggs is gone now. And where did he
Still
sign?
got Tank Dell and Nico Collins.
Patriots.
Did you see what happened to Tank Dell?
What?
Do you remember?
Guess not.
Oh, his leg?
Yeah.
Shit happened.
Yeah,
Nick Chubb. How much you don't like Nick Chubb? Tank Dell's in the same boat.
Yeah.
And he actually is a runner
Tank Dell's
to
a
receive.
monster.
No,
Monster.
not no more.
They drafted
And
a lot
Nico
of
was hurt
receivers though too. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
but there's no way. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year.
All right. Fair
Um,
enough.
does Jaden Daniels have a regression this year?
No.
I'm going to answer it first. I'm going to say yes, a little bit. I think he will because all freshman quarterbacks always have a regression.
I don't think he does. No.
Okay.
He
So
That
if he
Dan
doesn't
Campbell
regress,
and
so if he
like-
doesn't regress a little bit, that means that he's going to go Super Bowl and win. Because that's
I said
basically
they
he
would
lost
be-
in the
I
championship
said
game,
they would
right?
be. I said they would be in the Super Bowl. So I'm
he's
standing
just
firm.
so clutch and poised in those important high pressure games that I just think he'll get over it. Like
Dude,
I don't know,
players,
he showed so much in those games.
yeah, players wanted to go to Washington because of what their atmosphere is right now. He's surrounded by players that want to be there and players that buy in. So why wouldn't he?
Like,
There's no way.
I think he regresses
No
a
way.
little bit. I don't think they
The
go to
only
Super
way
Bowl.
he would is by an injury. That's the only way.
Yep.
Only way.
I think he regresses, but that's my personal opinion. Do the New York Jets do better with Fields over Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
plus Aaron Glenn. Yes. I think so.
Like I said, that was a coaching issue. I was saying that from the whole get down.
I say they don't, only because, and I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here, but Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback still than Justin Fields is. Justin Fields is a great runner. The issue is, yes, it's coaching, but at the same time, the issue is ownership. It's president, it's GM. There's just a lot. There's just a lot of issues that they have. I don't think they. I mean, they have so much talent. The team on the offense should, like, the way their offensive defense is built should not show that they are as bad as what the record says. But it's an ownership issue. I don't think that the ownership's not changing hands that I know of. Right? They're not selling. So because of that, I think they're going to continue to try to do Madden trades all year long, and that's where they're going to be at. And the last question I have is, does Sam Darnold repeat his production from last year? I say no.
No, I don't think he does. It's either going to be Sam Darnold does great and McCarthy not so great, or they're going to flip-flop. We're about to see if Minnesota is really QB university. We're about to see.
Probably not. Probably not.
Does Sam Darnold play better than J.J. McCarthy does? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Weapon-wise,
He has JSN.
He has JSN. Defense. I don't know.
Sam
I think the
Darnold went
Vikings-
The
to
defense
Seattle,
is also
correct?
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got Cooper Kupp. What are we doing?
He has a Cooper Cup.
Cooper Kupp's not the same Cooper Kupp of
Bro,
old,
Cooper
man.
Kupp's still good. Cooper Kupp's
He's
still
all right. He's
I hope-
okay.
I hope he does great because I'm drafting him every single league in this year.
Do it.
The boy's going hard.
I'm not touching Cooper Kupp with a 10-foot pole, dude. His injuries and he's not even that old. It's just his injuries are finally catching up to him, and he's just a step
Bro,
slower.
you could say
I
that
think
about
that's right.
Puka too. Puka
That's
gets
what-
injured every single year.
Dude, Puka's a way better receiver right now than Cooper Kupp is. That's why they got rid of Cooper Kupp. They're
Puka's
eating
also like
each other's.
14 years old, so
Yeah.
You're telling me you have to draft somebody in fantasy football, and you're not taking Puka? You're going to take Cooper Kupp over Puka?
I took Puka in both my leagues first round last year,
Well, I'm talking about
and that
this year.
sucked. That sucked.
You're in the draft. The Puka and Cooper's available. Which one are you taking?
I'm gonna take Puka because Puka.
Okay, then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And the Rams felt the same way. It's injuries, and that's it.
I would say even if Seattle kept DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp's still going to be better than DK Metcalf. Like what do you do?
I don't like Geno Smith, so that's a whole nother thing. I think Geno Smith.
Geno Smith's not there.
Well, it's not Geno.
But no, I'm saying like if they didn't get rid of the team and change anything, and Geno Smith is still quarterback with DK there, that's why DK was mad. DK didn't like Geno Smith as his quarterback. Geno couldn't get on the ball, man.
Because DK's being a Des Bryant, bro. He wants all this superstar
right
crap.
now. He doesn't have a big quarterback, so it ain't gonna matter.
Hope it was worth it, bro. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, Mason Rudolph at least guns the ball out. I'll say that. I don't know if Sam Darnold's going to be able to do that. I like Sam Darnold. Like I was all about Sam Darnold when he was on the Niners, just because, like I said, the Niners have a good quarterback-friendly offense. And he went to Minnesota, that was also a very quarterback-friendly offense. But he also had the best receiver in football, Justin Jefferson. And now that he's going to a team whose line isn't as good as it used to be, who lost their number one receiver, I think he's going to struggle. But to answer the question earlier about the JJ Sam Darnold thing, I think Sam Darnold is going to have a better year than JJ because I think people have such high expectations for JJ. I don't think he's that good. You got to remember in college, he was a handoff quarterback, and they took him really high. And I think he's probably going to be one of the biggest flops this year is JJ McCarthy. So
we'll see.
That's an early fantasy spoiler, or not even spoiler, prediction for you.
Shedeur Sanders is garbage.
Oh yeah, let's do a little. I need some clickbait here. Let's talk a little bit about Shedeur and address him by his name. Why does Shedeur fall? I mean, obviously it's not because of his talent, and I could see the argument between him being a first round pick and a second round pick. His college stats say otherwise. What he did, he was sacked the most, but he was on a really, really bad team. I think that shows that he can still play and produce very well being on a very bad team. So that's why I liked him for Cleveland early. Even Tennessee, he'd be fine.
No.
Saints. No. Steelers. He would have been really good in the Steelers.
If we would have drafted Sanders, that would have been the last straw, dude. I would have been done. I would have sold all my Titan stuff. I would have became a Patriots fan with Mike Vrabel.
What if you guys would have got like Travis and freaking Shedeur though? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think Cam Ward's going to be this saving grace. He's not a prospect like C.J. Stroud or like Jaden Daniels or.
I'm not saying he's going to be the next Peyton
Michael Penix, and I don't even like Michael Penix.
That.
That's what I'm saying. He's just not. It's not. He was the 7th ranked quarterback from last year's draft. Bo Nix was higher than this guy. That's the truth. You can look it up. I'm speaking facts.
I'm not saying you're not. I'm not saying you're not. But at the same time, Tom Brady also went in the 5th round, 6th round. So what are we doing?
Shedeur went in the 5th round. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, but.
Dude, NFL scouts and their scouting reports are about as truthful as the weatherman and a politician, bro. They make that no. NFL scouts have gotten it wrong more times than they have ever gotten it right. 100% of the time.
So the same could be said for Shedeur getting drafted in the 5th round.
No, the reason why he got drafted in the 5th round was because he's a little arrogant individual.
Yeah, there you go.
He is an arrogant individual. And there were a plethora of reports that came out that he went into the interview as if it was a college recruiting seminar. Like, bro, that's not what it is. You don't understand. This is the NFL. There were teams that told their GMs, hey, draft this kid so in practice I can lay him out. I can rock his world. I can jack him up. Look it up. There are reports that players told their GMs this, told their head coaches this. Draft him so I can lay him out in practice. Bro, you don't want that on your team. You have your dad that dictates your entire life. Like, I don't care. I don't care what you say. Deion Sanders will say something. He's going to say something, and you don't want that publicity about your team. As an NFL owner, you don't want that. Why would you want that? Why do you want some guy out of this college in Colorado who they don't even play good teams? I don't see them playing Michigan. I don't see them playing Alabama. Like, what are they doing? What are they playing, Fresno State? Oh, good for you, bro. That does nothing. You played against scrub teams. Like, who are you?
But that's the point I'm getting to, though, is that you're saying that
Malik Willis was supposed to be great. He came out of Liberty, and guess what he did? Nothing.
He's not. To me, it's like Shedeur should have been a late 1st round, early 2nd round.
No,
I didn't see him going to the 3rd.
No, he
had the
where he
highest.
needed to go.
He had the highest accuracy in college, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Okay,
matter.
Cool.
That's
That
who
means
has high
something.
accuracy? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Drew
You don't-
Brees actually had a better passer rating and accuracy rating than Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and almost every single quarterback.
I'm talking about when you're transitioning to college, like the way I look at first round draft picks is if you're a first round draft pick, not always in the entire round, but I'm looking at who's the one guy, who's the superstar, who's the guy there that has the one thing that no one else has, right? Lamar, he can throw the ball and he can run. Lamar is a generational talent, right? Obviously, like first 10 picks is probably what you're looking at. Trevor Lawrence coming out of college was supposed to be generational. He's not generational. We found that out pretty fast. But he was supposed to be, right? You have guys like
Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was supposed to be amazing.
He's generational. I don't care what anybody says. He's my PC. I have his. Where's it at? I have his helmet right there, baby. Autographed right there.
You know what, dude?
He's my guy right there, man.
You
he's
also
my guy. That's a Drew Brees, by the way. That's Drew Brees. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick, dude. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. Hey, he's smart as hell, dude. Stanford, right? Or Harvard. So, but
I'm just saying, Shedeur got what he asked for. He got what he asked for.
But what I'm saying is, it's not on talent. They didn't do it solely on talent, and that's kind of the point I was trying to make. And you were kind of saying that is it wasn't because of his talent. His talent was late first round, maybe second round. I could have seen the Saints grabbing him at 9 or the Steelers grabbing him at 20-something that they had him at. The thing is that his dad, people don't like his dad. Deion says a lot of stuff, and Deion was dictating too much in the draft, and that's why he didn't get drafted. But it's not his talent, because he should be a starter in the league, in my opinion. All the other guys besides Cam Ward's a starter, Shedeur's a starter. Dart, Chuck, Gabriel, none of those other guys should be starters.
I don't think that Sanders should go in there and immediately get the starting job, which is why I don't think he should have been.
Well, he's not going to now.
Round.
Yeah.
No, 100%. But what I'm saying is he should have been drafted either second or third round. I'll give him that. At a second or third round, you are not immediately making an impact and starting. You're not. So Sanders, that's where he should have went if he would have shut up. If he just would have shut up. And he cut his dad out long ago, right at the draft. His dad goes, hey, I'm going to go to the draft with you. No, you're not. Get out of here. Separate yourself. He had an opportunity to do it, but he didn't.
Well,
he tried to ride that coattail.
He didn't go to the draft. He stayed home.
I know. Of course he did. Because he knew the same thing that the rest of us knew. That he wasn't going to go first round.
No,
Cam Ward even told him. You're not going first round. Bro,
I have a crazy theory that this whole entire thing is just a media grab. He did all this on purpose so he don't get drafted by the first couple teams. And he's been in talks with the Browns, and he acted and did all this just so he'd get picked by a certain number of teams. And I think Browns is one of them. The one of them that would say, we'll go to Browns. Maybe they'll build around Shedeur, give him a year, get him in there. I don't know. It just seems so. I feel like Deion would be smarter about this stuff, but maybe he wasn't. But I would not be surprised if this whole entire thing, this media stuff, was just like a way to tank it on purpose to get him somewhere that Deion and Shedeur want to be. It can be something deeper.
Deion made a comment like a year or two ago saying that the Browns, he would never let Shedeur go to the Browns. They were a horrible organization. So that tweet is
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No, he's not. But my thing is that this is what happens when you have something bigger than an ego, bigger than arrogance. This is what happens. So I got a buddy who his friend is actually works for the Vikings as a scouter, as a scout. He said that when Shedeur came in to the interview, he was beyond arrogant. I don't even know what that would be. Beyond arrogant. So imagine what he did to the Titans, to the Giants, to the Browns, all these teams. Imagine what he did to walk in there and act like this is a recruiting seminar for him. Like, bro, no, it's not. You don't understand. And that's what this was all about. Do I think that every NFL team conspiracized to drop him down? No, I don't think they did. Do I think NFL owners came in, told their presidents and their GMs, hey, don't draft this guy? I think some did. I don't think all did. But at the end of the day, you look at Shedeur Sanders, is that the guy you want as a face of your organization, as the leader of your organization? Is that the type of guy you want talking under the mic? No. Hell no. Hell
so
no.
You don't want your quarterbacks to be confident?
I want them to be confident, not arrogant and cocky. There's
okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Big difference.
Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer.
He wasn't that way the whole time. Once he started getting on
he was pretty egotistical if you want to look at it.
Hey,
he was like that for a long time.
I never liked Aaron Rodgers.
Watch Enigma. What I'm saying is Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. I think, yes, there's different ways to approach it, but at the same time, I'd rather my quarterback be cocky and confident, especially if you're going to go play for the Cleveland Browns. You better be cocky and confident because you got to do something because that organization's not going to help you.
Bro,
they're not setting you up to succeed.
You're getting confident confused with arrogance.
Why not be both?
Because you can't. That's
sure a contradiction.
Contradiction.
You can be confident and cocky for sure.
Hell no, you can't. Hell no, you
Absolutely.
Can't. Because Aaron Rodgers, he was cocky off of camera. On the camera, he looked like a saint. But you pissed him off in an interview, and you could tell. And then at that point, he's got a grace period to be a dick because the interviewer upset him. That's what we did.
I truly think that because it's Deion's son that this became a thing. And I don't know if I would say there's a conspiracy. I think what it is that all the teams didn't want him in their locker rooms because they didn't 100%. Want to have to deal with the drama and the media that's going to ensue with it.
Bro,
so no matter what, because he's Deion's kid, that's what's going to happen. Shiloh doesn't get it like Shedeur does. So
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, is that your quarterback. This is the difference between cocky and confident. Cam Ward went in to the Titans facility, already has players buying in to what he's doing. That's confidence. Cocky is when you walk in and everyone in your defensive scout, your defense is, hey, draft this kid so I can knock him out. That's the difference. That's 100% the difference. And Sanders he's not going to rally a team. He did it at Colorado. He had interviews where he threw his team under the bus, even though it was his fault. That's cocky. That's arrogant. That's not confident. That's not confident.
I think, in my personal opinion, I don't know. I think he's more confident, but I think people perceive him as being cocky. If that makes sense.
Media.
Right. About it. The media perceives him being cocky, and he's confident. Because if there's one thing about Deion Sanders and the thing that you've seen with Shedeur, Shiloh not so much, but mostly Shedeur, is that he's very confident. But Deion's also taught him to be like that and to think highly of himself because, I mean, he should. I mean, he's a great player. Well, we'll see, right, in the NFL. But in college and high school, he was a great player. But I think it's more about perception rather than whether he's one way or the other.
But because the problem the problem was that Deion was a great player. And now he's put it in Shedeur's head that because Deion was a good player, he's going to be a good player. That's not how it works.
Well, I think
that's a failure on Deion's fault.
Well, Deion put that mindset in him.
100%.
That was on Deion, and it wasn't on Shedeur. Yeah. So that's
no, yes. I agree. But right now, Shedeur is at a point where he's got to learn, okay, do I cut my dad out of this? And do I just be me? Or do I constantly ride the coattail? He's got to make
I think for sure he's going to have to cut it off at this point. I mean, Shiloh already did, and that's what I said earlier. So
Right. And you know what? And that's why he's going to have a fine career. That's why you don't hear anything about him.
He's not a drafted free agent, so I don't know if he's even going to play, to be honest.
He signed to the Bucks.
Well,
yeah, but
he signed to the Bucks.
He's going to play. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to play, though. But most undrafted free agents don't. They're practice squad guys. So, but
And you know what? If that's the way you got to go, that's the way you got to go.
No, for sure.
I think the conversation will change a lot in the next couple of months. I'm excited to see where this goes with the Shedeur.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so curious. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
I know. I kind of want to see how this plays out, dude. Honestly,
I think he has the skills to succeed. It's just unfortunately he's on the Cleveland Browns, and I think that's where careers go to die. Obviously, Johnny Manziel had other things, but look at Baker Mayfield. He's a perfect example of that going to the Bucs.
Joe Flacco revived his career in Cleveland.
Yeah, but Joe Flacco already won the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah.
He won the Super Bowl since. That's
fair enough.
But that was fun. That was a little different. A little a little bit of fantasy, not a whole lot. All right, everyone. Let us know what you think. Go ahead and comment. You can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. We're on everything. You can go to our website, www.encinas.com. I'm trying to think. We're probably filming another episode unless something else crazy happens in like training camp or something. You'll probably see our next episode happen probably around August, maybe before August, like when some mock drafts start to come out. But I would kind of like to see what the depth chart looks like before we start saying, oh, we should draft, Jetty. Yeah, you can draft him, but draft this receiver or this running back because you don't really know. Like Dallas's backfield's mucky and all these other places are kind of mucky right now. Mm-hmm. So let's wait and see. And we'll kind of go from there. But Steven and I will be doing our MMA unboxing, so that'll still be happening as the fights come up, maybe about once a month. And hopefully we'll be getting some interviews back in here pretty soon. I know I have a boxer coming on here in a couple weeks, so look forward to that. But until next time, everybody, Colby, thanks for sticking around. Everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.